You know, it really makes me sad to know that you melanated women are disproportionately affected by fibroids. Like, why does that even happen? And it makes it no better that we don't really have anyone in our corner trying to help us, let alone help us understand the actual condition. Like, yeah, we have the meds that can ease some symptoms, but how do we actually help all of us get rid of it? Like, how do we help our children and our grandchildren not get this condition? You know, I was talking to a patient probably a couple of months ago, and I asked that person about their fibroid. I was just trying to honestly just get an understanding of how much they actually knew about it. So I was asking them, I was like, hey, can you tell me like about your fibroid diagnosis? Like, who do you talk to about it? What did they tell you about it? And then that person was like, oh, I was told it was due to a bad gene. First of all, how they gonna tell you that it was due to a bad gene? And like 9 times out of 10, they didn't even do a genetic testing for it, which you can do. And I was like, okay, so how have they supported you, or how are they going to continue to support you? And this person said, oh, they want to do surgery. So now I'm just like, okay, so how do we make sure your future child, which you won't in a couple of years, how do we make sure that child doesn't get fibroids as well? Surgery too? No, that is not the answer to everything. A medication isn't the answer to everything either. Not even a supplement is the answer to everything. Not even a herb is the answer to everything. Then, well, dang it, Mary, then what is? Lifestyle can literally turn off the genes that may increase your risk of fibroids. What if I told you that 80% of women have a uterus that looks like this, when it really should be looking like this? If you are a part of this 80%, this is already putting you at risk for irregular periods, anemia, cancer, and even infertility. This is serious stuff. Fibroid tumors are the most common type of growth found in a woman's reproductive organs, and unfortunately, they're also one of the main reasons why women between 18 and 44 might need a hysterectomy. When doctors take a piece of fibroid tissue and look at it under a microscope, they're generally going to see three main types. Regular fibroids, which are known as leiomyomas, and that's what most women have, and they're going to see uncertain ones known as stumps. And these are the ones that doctors try to keep a closer eye on because they're not sure if they could become cancerous. And very rarely, but it does happen, there are going to be cancerous fibroids, which are thankfully uncommon. But all of these tumors are invasive species and can actually grow in a few different areas in and around the uterus. Some grow under the uterus lining, some cuddle up inside of the uterus muscle wall. Some of them pop on the outside of the uterus, and a few of them can actually appear inside of the cervix. And some grow on little stems. No matter where they are, fibroids can actually range in size from as small as a tiny seed to as big as a watermelon. That is huge, guys. And many women can have multiple fibroids of different sizes all at once. No matter what originally caused the fibroid, their growth is influenced because of a continued exposure to the surge of hormones, estrogen, androgens, growth hormones, and or progesterone. Sometimes these hormones can surge or increase and decrease naturally because of pregnancy, menopause, and sometimes they surge due to medications and environmental toxins. But these hormones can also be affected by chronic inflammation from processed foods and toxins, a compromised liver function affecting estrogen breakdown, and insulin resistance that disturbs your hormones, gut imbalances that affect estrogen metabolism, thyroid issues like Hashimoto's affecting hormone imbalance, and nutrient deficiencies including vitamin D, which affects your cell growth, iron causing anemia, and minerals like magnesium, zinc, and selenium, which will all impact your hormonal regulation, and chronic stress affecting cortisol levels and adrenal health. Now that you get underlying factors, let's talk about what makes someone more likely to actually get fibroids. First up is genetics, and it's a big one. Fibroids run in your family. Especially if your mother had them, your risk can be much higher. This is especially true for higher melanated women. We are 2 to 3 times more likely to develop these growths, and scientists have even identified specific genes linked to fibroid growth. The MED12 gene, for example, shows up in about 70% of all fibroids. No, we can't change these genes, but we can change how they are expressed, and we're going to touch on that. Let's look at the environment. Every day, we're exposed to things that can trigger fibroid growth. Think about those plastic containers in your kitchen or your favorite beauty products. They may contain chemicals that act like estrogen in your body. Even certain metals, hormones, pesticides in our food and everyday items can throw off our hormones and throw them completely off balance and out of whack. And here's something interesting. Women who have not had children tend to have higher chances of developing fibroids. Why is that? It's all about hormones. When you're not pregnant or breastfeeding, your body maintains higher estrogen levels month after month. But when you're pregnant or breastfeeding, that's actually going to give your body a break from this pattern. And this last one is most important to me. Body fat isn't just taking up space, it's actually working like a tiny hormone factory. Those fat cells can pump out extra estrogen, which can make fibroids grow. Plus, if you're carrying extra weight, that's going to create inflammation in your body and it's going to make it easier for your fibroids to develop. But here's what's really important to understand. It's not about the number on the scale. Where you carry your weight matters the most. Even someone who looks perfectly healthy on the outside might have hidden visceral fat around their organs that's causing issues. Visceral fat doesn't just appear randomly though. It develops through a complex interplay of factors. Poor diet choices and exposure to toxins can trigger chronic inflammation, all while an overwhelmed liver will struggle to properly break down hormones. And when insulin levels become unbalanced and gut health is compromised, it affects how our bodies process hormones. And not to mention thyroid conditions like Hashimoto's, they will throw your hormones off balance. And even so, key nutrient shortages like vitamin D, iron, magnesium, zinc, and selenium, and the impact of chronic stress on our cortisol and our adrenal functions, all of those things will affect how our bodies kind of process hormones and whether or not we will have the condition of fibroids. Even our everyday environment plays a huge part, as common household chemicals can interfere with our natural hormone balance. Now let's talk complications. I feel like just because so many women have fibroids, we start to kind of normalize it like it's okay to have. It isn't. Fibroids are a tumor. These tumors will eventually start to compete for the nutrients that you are putting into your body. A tumor doesn't know it's a tumor. It's trying to get nutrients like every other organ in the body. A tumor is an imposter. It thinks that it's important. It thinks that it has just as much worth as all the other organs, but in actuality, it does not. It does nothing but cause confusion and damage. A tumor doesn't have a specific process other than to just grow, and this will deplete your body over time and your resources and then create ruckus and mucus and all kinds of stuff. And these tumors can then lead to worse complications. One of the most common complications is anemia from heavy menstrual bleeding. This can and will drain your energy levels, leaving you feeling weak and short of breath and make your skin look pale as well, probably. So to stay healthy, you'll need to keep a close eye on your iron levels and make sure you supplement as needed or at least eat the proper foods. Fibroids can also make it harder to get pregnant. Depending on where they're actually located and how big they are, these growths will change your uterus shape and possibly block your fallopian tubes or prevent eggs from implanting properly. Some women find they need to treat their fibroids first before they can successfully conceive. For those who do become pregnant, fibroids can also create additional risks. They increase the chance of miscarriage, early labor, complications during delivery. All these things can be a result of fibroids. And the bigger the fibroids come, the more monitoring you will probably need during pregnancy, especially since these growths can compete with your baby for vital nutrients. So now that we understand what fibroid tumors are and how it can affect our health, let's talk about how you can manage your fibroids at home, even if you do have a genetic predisposition for it. So even if you do have the genes that make you more prone to having fibroids, with something called epigenetics, you do not have to succumb to it. With understanding epigenetics, you can actually control how your genes are expressed with your everyday actions. And that's going to involve how you move, what you eat, how you speak, what you spend your time on, and what environment you are exposed to. Even if you only have $2 to your name, you can still heal fibroids and restore your reproductive system's function by focusing on your lifestyle. And here's the truth. No medication, herb, or supplement will heal your body until you change the habit that created the problem in the first place. Too often, we are looking for the answers outside of ourselves, thinking we need to add something new to our body or our environment to heal. But that's not it. Sometimes we just need to take away what's already there, those harmful habits, ideas, and those mindsets. How can you heal your body without addressing these first? If you're not exercising, start moving your body. If you're not surrounding yourself with uplifting and supportive people, step away from those who drag you down. If you're eating foods that you know cause headaches, nausea, or stomach pain, stop eating them. If you're exhausting yourself trying to be a content creator because you see others on the internet who aren't being honest about how they really make their money, stop stressing about that path and focus on your true purpose. Not to mention mention, we are exposed to so many toxins every day. The food choices we make are toxic. While it is super impossible to avoid every single toxin, we can at least learn how to reduce our toxic load so our bodies don't have to deal with so much inflammation and stress. And let's be real, our bodies are trying to tell us something every single day, but we keep ignoring these signals. I totally understand why we do this because I've been there too. I've ignored my body signals just for convenience. There are many days where I chose vegan chips over a salad or watching sisters over exercise. But you know what happens? My body lets me know. It starts breaking down. I start to get some acne, then my joints start acting up. These are the body's way of saying, get back on track. But the more you ignore these warning signs, the more health problems you'll face down the road. And once you have addressed those foundational lifestyle things, then you can begin using supplements and herbal remedies. And while herbs and supplements can support your healing, they must come after establishing healthy lifestyle habits. And let me emphasize this, lifestyle changes need to come before adding any herbs or supplements. But once you do, you can explore beneficial herbs like calendula for reducing inflammation and supporting your lymphatic drainage. Wild yam can help to balance hormones through its progesterone-like effects. Raspberry leaf because it works as an astringent to tone the uterus. And chaste berry to help regulate hormones by managing prolactin levels. Black cohosh to further support hormone balance. And then for excessive bleeding, there are several helpful herbs like yarrow, lady's mental, and shepherd's purse. But remember, these herbal remedies are supplementary tools. They only work after you've done the essential groundwork. Regular exercise, proper nutrition, stress management, healthy relationships, and reducing toxin exposure. Research already shows us that lifestyle medicine can effectively address various conditions, but many of us overlook it, hoping for a quick fix through medication, herbs, and supplements. True healing does not come from these things, guys. True healing does not come from medicines alone. It comes from creating the right internal environment. We must prepare our bodies to heal themselves. We must learn how to create a peaceful, healing environment in our bodies and not a war-stricken internal environment. Give thanks.